That's better.
Oh, hey guys.
I love it.
You
man.
can hear my voice, but you
Toodles.
can't see me. Oh, now you can see me.
Fuck. Run.
Well,
Stop
we'll
telling
have
people
to
to do that in my
fix
presence.
that at a later date.
Don't make so much. Stop making it necessary.
Anyone who sees the tweet, I punched him. I didn't slap him.
It is
I
an important distinction.
Specifically said that to Ryle Hannah, and I'm happy it worked.
The context is actually.
Hello,
Punching
everybody,
also.
and welcome
Get me right back into that frustrated mood.
to Maxed and Doubled, session 10, episode 10.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're in double digits, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made it this far.
8 more sessions and it's legal.
Wait,
We can
that
drink.
means we've had 10 sessions where we haven't made him swear.
No, we have.
10
We
whole
have
sessions.
just not the right phrase.
And you haven't gotten a G dang it out of me yet.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it!
God dang it. Was it?
We
Have
do
had
have.
a long rest.
God damn it, Oscar.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, we're on a boot.
We do have one announcement prior to starting today, which is that unfortunately, fortunately, Josh isn't going to be here for the next 2 weeks.
I was waiting to whether I should swallow or not, just until what you said.
No, you
That's
can drink
all
when
right,
he's
yeah.
talking, just not when I am.
Exactly.
Oh,
We are going to be missing Josh next week and the week after.
won't be.
So Silkus will probably come down with another man flu,
his con is so high though.
and we'll
Apparently
have
not.
Apparently not. No.
to
Picked up
somehow continue on without you.
Oscar's got to figure out how to do a Welsh accent.
No, that's why we're leaving you behind.
Yeah,
No,
that's fair.
see, because last
Just
time
dump him
we didn't
overboard
leave
this
you
session,
behind.
you'll be fine.
Last time we didn't leave you behind and had like the panic attack of the century when those two big things came over the hill. So I would rather leave you in the pub.
You don't remember this because you weren't there. It's okay.
Okay, about a second. I was thinking last session. I'm like, he panicked.
No,
I
the last
remember
time
none
we
of
weren't
this.
here.
Did I black out? I don't
I
remember.
definitely vote that he gets cold.
Either way, we'll figure it out. 'Cause-
So-
We'll fix it in post.
yeah, I'll be in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Previously,
That's one hell of an announcement, though. 2 sessions.
2 whole sessions.
I'm just interrupting him whenever he starts.
Previously on Big
damn.
Bang
Previously
It
on
shift
Maximum
work.
Altitude's feature show, Maxed and Doubled. Saved it.
Did you that?
No. The party, you all,
Oh.
travelled through
We're a party.
the Daling Range Major, having been led there by Koodle, the half-orc scout from the hunting party that you helped out. You faced off against an Etten,
Couldn't believe it.
and eventually emerged from the mountain pass into an open stretch of land containing what looked to be a town, a fishing town, although you couldn't smell fish. And it became apparent that this wasn't exactly that
Something
type.
doesn't smell fishy around here.
Upon making your way into the town, with Silkus in the lead, Silkus rounded a corner and ran face first into a large blue frog-like creature that Archibald, through a
That's a
bout
slide.
of inspiration, managed to correctly attribute to being a slardy, or a slard.
Still believe it's that thing that was jumping up in the air during our travels.
Avoiding a confrontation, barely, by being extracted at the last moment by the rest of the party, you continued to make your way through the town, eventually reaching the port side, where you look to charter transport of some sort across the Gulf of Cliftonwood to get to the pathways
That's
leading
right.
down to Yolm.
The gulf of what he said.
Yes, exactly.
I was born in a country town called Young.
Named after Sir Reginald Cliftonwood.
Yes. Hey, you got that exactly right too.
He's been practicing at home.
The first person you approached, a grey tiefling who identified himself as Covel. You had a discussion in your attempts to persuade him to take you across the Gulf,
Say
and
we.
eventually Sulphur cottoned on that he wasn't exactly who he seemed to be. Sniffing around, sitting down next to him, and Sariel realized that there was something fishy about this not so fishy town.
Ha!
You boarded the barge that he
I
was
was
offering you.
suspicious the first time I saw a tiefling in that town. Don't even.
Wow, that's profiling. Continue.
You boarded the barge that he was offering you as transport on his request quickly, with a small crew of rowers and other seamen and sea women. I intentionally put a space there.
You should have just said sailors.
Hyphen.
Just saying.
Hyphen.
And as you drifted away from shore and out of the immediate eyesight of anyone watching, he dropped his disguised self. In doing so, Sariel punched him in the face as it was revealed that this was indeed Fenrir.
And Silka stretched out his back. No
Yeah.
back problems. As we'll put
He
that
dropped
out.
his weird little "I'm an old man" and bendy disguise.
Yeah, well, you know.
I also dropped my disguised self. Because
Everybody just drops everything.
With
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Hands over all against the ground.
that was where we left off. What would you all like to do?
Well,
have a rather
first-
uneventful journey on this boat. Arrive at our destination without issue.
First, though, I
That's
want to
what I'd
wait.
like to do.
First, though, I want to wait for the animated intro to finish and then continue through.
In 3
so-
years from now, we'll come back, edit this video
And
to
put it
have an
in.
animated intro.
I'm gonna set my calendar.
Seems like a lot of work.
No,
Like-
setting calendar.
Like the money involved in like filming and editing an entire magical girl transformation sequence for
3
Josh
years.
would just be a bit much.
I'm gonna write here 3 years from now. 3 years.
I love how he thinks he's still going to have that book in 3 years.
Mm.
Oh, I'll bring it back. And
No,
So
you
He's
He's going to
never
write it
also-
in every single book on that date.
Yeah.
Here you are,
I'm so
slowly rocking back and forth on a flat cargo barge being rowed by a crew of about 8 people. It's a
Yeah.
decently sized thing, but it's quite slow, cumbersome, and the crew here is skeleton. It's clear that
There
there
need
is
much or
there is a minimum crew necessary to get it to and from its destinations, and that's it.
what do they?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
so if we're going
descriptions of them?
straight from when I punched him,
Not good.
is that where we're starting?
Right there. What are you
Okay, 'cause
doing?
Obviously, the
Is
second
he
used
responding
purple,
to it in any way?
Yeah.
Sulphur's going to
No, he
like
takes it.
knock him on his ass and lick him.
Everybody roll initiative.
That's
Roll.
the second I'm done punching him. So as I punch him, his head turns slightly, getting the punch, and then on his butt.
Sariel?
Roll a contested athletics. So roll an athletics check for Sulfur, please.
Sariel is the good cop. Is bad cop. Self is the good cop.
Dirty 20.
Oh boy.
That's a 17.
Yes.
So Sulfur does indeed knock Fenrir over.
Enlarged sulfur.
She's
Enlarged
so
sulfur.
good. And is
Sink
now
the ship.
all over him, wagging her tail, furiously licking his
And
face.
she's like licking him, and she's like taking in all the new smells on his face, and like putting her nose in his ear, all uncomfortably, like
Yeah,
all those annoying things dogs do.
yeah. He takes it in
Oh.
stride.
Okay. Thank Christ it's not going to be me this trip.
And she hears Archibald, and because she's so happy, she just goes for him as well.
So like you're saying to us, and also you see a shadow get larger over you. So I think that's Fenrir.
No,
That's
seriously,
correct.
like you're gonna. If you say that out loud, she's gonna like turn around, wagging her tail, and like start bounding towards you.
No. You're focusing on Fenrir.
And you say his name, so she turns around and goes back.
She'll do that all day.
Yeah.
Difficult man to track.
I try to be.
Well,
You weren't supposed to find me, but of course you came this way.
Yeah.
Well,
it was totally.
I did the
purpose.
opposite of what you like. I did what you said.
Oh, I know. But, well, I guess something has led you over here. Regardless, and I'm on the trail of the horseman. You're
Pestilence.
That's
Or-
the one.
Yeah. Oh,
and War.
Well, that
They're
wasn't
traveling
deliberate.
together.
We weren't coming this way to follow him.
I forgot there's two of them. I forget there's
No.
more than there's.
You're here
just
now,
two.
and that's what matters, and I'm not too fussed about it. In fact, I'm actually quite happy you're here.
Well,
It is good to see you again.
Do you want to know why I punched you?
I think I can guess.
I have a few
Enlighten
theories.
me.
Well, 6 years ago, I suddenly left you after mentoring you for a number of years, gave you my bow, and just disappeared into the ether. You weren't able to find me, never sent any contacts, and then all of a sudden I turn up 6 years later in Chimeria with a
No.
horseman. No.
No. No, I'm pissed at that, but that's not why I punched you.
It's the bow.
Why'd you punch me?
You gave me a bow that I can't use. I strung it and I still can't use it.
You'll be able to use it. You-
There's literally a room that says I can't use it.
When you're ready.
when you're stronger, you'll be able to use it.
I hate you right now.
Here, pass it over here.
I give it to him.
He strings it and pulls back on the string. It goes no problem, and he turns the bow and shows you as he pulls back on the string, and the rune has not lit up at all. But
Yeah,
two
well, you
runes on
own
either
it.
side, of that rune, which is just located just above the handle, do light up that you hadn't seen previously as he pulls back on the bow and then lets it down and passes it back to you.
Do
You won't be able to do that until you're a little stronger, but I assure you it'll be worth it.
Do I recognize those runes or anything about that?
Roll an Arcana check.
I'm still mad.
First roll of the
Why
night.
would you give me a bow I can't use? I've been
Fucking
trying to
mint.
string this for 6 years.
Keep trying. It's
No,
a
I
good
strung it,
workout.
and then I still can't use it.
It's a good workout.
24.
24. You
19
recognize
plus
you recognize them as abjuration runes. And it seems like the one that was activating when Sariel tried to pull back the bow last time you saw, compared to the two that activated when Fenrir pulled it back. The one was preventing the use, and the other two were essentially basically making it easier. So where this is a very powerful looking bow, Fenrir was able to pull it back and hold onto it with no problem. And he's not a particularly muscly guy, he's
Not to
quite
do with
wiry.
Strength.
And
He's
it
Oscar
seems
but
like
purple
this
with
is
horns.
pretty much.
Do I believe it's something to do with tuning?
You don't see any attuning aspects
Right.
to it. These runes are not to do with attuning specifically.
Yeah.
These ones are particularly to do with allowing or making easier the drawing of the bow.
Do I see any symbols on Fenrir?
You do see there is the peak of a tattoo coming out on the hand, on the right hand, but that's it.
Alright.
In order to attune to this magical weapon, you must spend 7 years of uninterrupted close proximity. to
Yeah.
it.
Yes, exactly.
Probably something he would do.
Well, we have about 2 hours on this trip, and then even more time afterwards. I'm sure you have questions.
I never stop having questions. But I think this would be more for her.
He was talking to her.
I know. But considering we're being dragged along into
Well,
this.
I mean, to be fair, still because he might know information about what you're trying to achieve. So,
Oh, I hardly
which
doubt
you're
that.
not telling us. He's pretty well travelled.
Yeah, I don't.
More well traveled than you might think.
Yeah, well, as one that can read letters very well, I don't really think I want to ask any questions to you.
You've already asked quite a few questions of me. Not recently. But you and I have met before.
History check, please.
Roll a history check.
With advantage, because history was
Just
in the
history.
sentence he just said. Oh. Wait, why do I always do history checks? They're not my proficiency.
I
I think
mean-
I've
Because
rolled.
you keep
What else
asking
would
about shit from your past.
No, I asked for things and he's like history. This was the first time I said history check. 14. I think I've rolled the most history checks out of all my options.
You keep asking for them. I can see that you're trying to remember. You won't. But then he reaches out a hand to you and changes his voice slightly and says, "Hello, my name is Pacey."
Well, I've been damned. No, wait.
Indeed. We went to school together.
No. I'm gonna need a bit of a moment.
If
Alright,
Archibald knew
answer
his
me.
memory, he probably knows him too.
No, I
hardly
don't know
doubt
this
that.
one.
I hardly doubt that. Tell me something only Pacey and I would know.
Well, the grumpy Barb. There was that one night.
Yeah, you're on
Remember with Gatwick?
Alright. Yeah, okay.
I don't think I have to go any further.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
but please do.
He probably will, though.
I'll leave that up to Silkus.
And now Archibald has something to
do you-
continuously ask Silkus about. for the
Well, what are you
next-
doing
Interesting.
here?
I find myself a
Yeah.
lot more interested in your past than mine all of a sudden. Oh, that's a joke.
What am I doing here?
Wow.
Same thing I've been doing for quite a few years. For the same reason that I left when I did, Zariel.
So you're going by the name of Fenrir.
That is my name, yes.
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure
so
if you
many
know this,
questions.
but I am a tiefling. We have funny names.
Yes, that is very true.
I research. I won't disclose exactly what I research because,
Yeah, and
well,
you do it at
it's a
Corma's
little bit
house,
of a
which is
dangerous
only 20
topic.
minutes from me.
However, my research led me to these horsemen. And I have been following them on and off for quite a few years. This is the first time they have traveled directly through a major city like Chimeria. And that is why originally I left when I did, Zariel.
I was wondering why I didn't hear from you in a long time. Do I
Well-
remember anything of what he studied?
You don't know what he studies.
Not even. Back at
Pacey.
Pacey.
You remember Pacey mainly from extracurricular, so
Yeah.
outside of classes, between classes, and you never really got to know much. The academy didn't really have particular areas of study. It was more everyone kind of ran through the same course.
Yeah.
So you always just kind of assumed that was what Pacey was doing.
He was quiet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pacey always seemed to know a lot about Umbra and about the topics. Always seemed to be a good student, from what you could gather. And make a history check.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut my mouth soon. Yeah, no,
Oh
don't.
no!
2
Shout out
plus
to the 2 crew.
5.
You can't. You can't remember any time where there may have been something suspicious going on or anything like that.
Well, you're a lot more adept to deception, more so than I thought.
I've been doing this for a
Commendable.
while.
So a lot of questions. Too many. Right now, I need a drink.
I'm sure that can
Speaking
be
of
arranged.
drinks,
We have some supplies
know
back
him?
there. No,
Have you met John?
Fenrir.
Nice to meet you.
Don't worry about
I'll
him.
call
He's
you nice to
perpetually
meet you.
hungover.
Yeah, about right.
Oh, and sorry, this is also Sketchy J.
Penance, must say.
Archibald.
Archibald.
Archibald. It's nice to meet you too. You're a bit of a thrown together gang, aren't you?
I thought you were going to say Motley Crue and I was going to giggle.
That to
Not
be
quite.
fair, to be fair, that was probably because of me.
Yeah,
Actually.
the horsemen don't tend to leave order in their wake, do they?
No, that's very true.
Attacked Chimeria recently.
They didn't attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Certainly attacked us.
We felt that.
War and Pestilence were riding through. They were traveling from a base of theirs over in the west of Dale and Dower to what I can only assume is another base of theirs up this way, up the peninsula.
So,
Like where we're going, or on the other side, like the side we've come from.
Far northeast, all the way up on the peninsula, at the very, very northeast reaches of Dale and Dower. There's no umbral connection up there at all, but
I'm taking out my Lunar Lichen and drinking the last of that. Finishing the bottle. And I say bottle, I mean just the flask.
which actually brings me to why I'm happy you guys are here. I've been following them for a while, and they always, when they travel with each other. They always travel with company. As you saw, Pestilence and War traveling together. On my own, I could probably take down Pestilence. He's not that powerful in combat. He's much more powerful as an asset to them over a long period of time. But I've never had the opportunity. When they're at base, they tend to have a bodyguard. They might not be all at the same base together,
seriously attempting to wrangle us into attacking these things?
Gotta be honest, that's not what I want to do and not my aim at all.
but look, I think I have a pretty good hunch that the five of us together on one mission could take down at least one of them.
First things first. So, let me get this straight.
Yes.
All the time that I knew you as Pacey, you're in fact someone else.
I was.
You set up Cyril and then pretty much ditched her for a number of
Would you like to know
numerous
why?
years. I'll get to that. But then you appear out of nowhere, and then you pretty much set us on a wild goose chase just to eventually just end up just coincidentally being you. And after all that, you want us to work with you.
So,
I don't even trust you at all right now, Pacey. And I'm calling you Pacey because that's all I know.
You're
Okay?
more than welcome to call me Pacey if you like.
I don't trust anything you're saying. Yes,
So-
pestilence and war is a thing. I saw them. But it doesn't mean... I have no confident... any insurance that you're on their side or not. And as far as I'm concerned, I like to stay as far away from it as possible.
so
Rega-
I
Watch
am
out.
not mad that he left.
regardless of the rest of
I'm
all
just showing
this,
how shifty this is.
it's a little uncharitable to call it a wild goose chase, considering we did find the cure.
That's a good point.
And we are, if we do this, going to protect the realm from future outbreaks of sick fuckers on horses.
And the next thing is, Silkus, what if next time it's not sulfur that gets hurt, it's you?
Well, if I stay far away from them, I will not get hurt.
Well, if you think
Then
about
go
it,
far
we've been
away from
attempting to stay pretty far away from him, and we've still ended up following him.
Well, it's just my poor
I've got a
directions.
question for you, Fenrir.
Also, on your lack of trust, I saved his life, and he saved mine. And then he stuck around for like years and taught me to survive. I think he's very trustworthy. He left for good reasons, I just don't know what they are yet.
You might recall I also did drag you to an infirmary.
That too.
Congrats. You see a guard, the guard would have done the same.
Oh, I don't need thanks. And I don't need you to
Well, I
acknowledge
wasn't
it.
saying
But
thanks.
I'd like to point out the facts. Archibald.
You say we are a thrown together group.
Hmm.
You say you've never met myself nor John before.
Well, I met you in Chimeria briefly, but we never conversed.
He did disappear.
In these few minutes that you've gotten to know us, how can you be sure that on one mission we'll be able to get pestilence with the 5 of us. You have no idea of our capabilities and our skill sets.
Just because I haven't met you doesn't mean I haven't seen you.
Is it an accident that we're together, or was it by design?
It is. When I saw that you were in town, back on the other side, back on the shore, I knew I had to make contact then because this is a very, very dangerous area. If you had spoken to the wrong person, of which
Like
I'd
a
say...
slard?
Like one of the Slardy, yes. Or, well, 95% of anyone else there, including the people who would have potentially brought you across, I could not have guaranteed that you would have made it across or out of the other side safely. So that forced my hand. But I have seen you in action. I haven't made contact because I didn't want to drag you into this too early, but I can see now that you are capable, and together, all of you are a good team, even if some of you don't like to admit it.
You mentioned they have a base over on the western side.
They do.
Wow, I said
And
north.
you also mentioned that they are heading to the top of the peninsula, where
They
they
are.
have another base.
Potentially. I don't know that for sure.
Are there any other structures that look like their base on the west side?
Not that I'm aware of. Their base on the west side is on the island of Ilm. It's desolate and usually inaccessible due to the barrier jungle that exists on the main continent itself. It's known as Illigit, the base.
Right.
It's a large, ancient structure that they seem to have commandeered for their own purposes. And crossing those waters is something that no sailor ever wants to do. I'm not
Is
sure
it-
how they established their
Is
base.
it one of those ancient structures like the ruins that we saw?
Quite possibly. I've not been there myself. I did attempt to. In fact, that's how I ended up here. I was attempting to get onto the island when I had a brief encounter with the 2 horsemen as they rode out in the barrier jungle. And I was unable to get across myself, but I figured I'd use the opportunity to track them, and that's when we met in Chimeria.
So, alright. Let's say I believe you're on this side. You're not on their side, you're on ours, or whatever side you want to be, really. That's not an enemy, per se. Why were you following them anyway? What's your whole purpose?
Because they're dangerous.
And then why were you studying as Pacey?
Because I needed information that only the Academy of Abatement could give me. Or at least, it's the only place I knew where to get it. I can't get in my current form. I don't have any prerequisites. I don't have paperwork or anything that supports me. No family history. I can't get into the Academy without posing as someone.
Is the other Pacey still alive?
There was no pacing.
Okay.
I forged documents. I had some friends of mine throw out some family connections that otherwise wouldn't have existed, and ended up getting the spot in the academy.
An entirely separate note.
Is that before or after you met me?
After. This
Oh,
was
okay.
only a couple of years ago.
Much after, yeah.
These writers,
Yes.
they wouldn't happen to be involved in a large-scale political plot which involves a fanatic trying to take down an umbral relay tower?
That's news to me, but
Well, there was, at the very least, a fanatic who tried to take down an umbral relay tower, and
And then killed himself instead of being questioned.
To be fair, that sounds more like... It sounds less their kind of thing. They just seem to ride
from what I know, it's possible. It might benefit them.
all right.
Do you
I guess
think...
I
that's-
don't know for sure. I'd have to look further into it.
Have they had experience with followers, per se? Or have they just always been on their lonesome?
I'm hesitant to give you too much information, but there is more than just the horsemen, yes.
I was about to say, because that's my another question, is what other horsemen? I'm sure there's
There are
gotta-
4.
Yeah. All right. Please,
Bloody hell, of course
please.
there are.
Continue, please. Don't
What are
let
the
me stop
other
you.
ones?
Well,
names?
you've met pestilence and war.
Hmm.
My own names for them, of course. No one else really knows them. They're generally referred to as the horsemen or the riders, or Arg. But usually the last
Sound
one is...
people make when they die.
Yeah,
but
I've heard that one in the forest. with
they
fire.
do have a theme. And
Hmm.
the other two that I have seen are famine and death.
Fucking course they are.
It's kind of interesting how all of them seem to lead towards death in the end anyway. Yet there is an extra horse that's just death.
The four horsemen of the apocalypse.
So,
Having those names in
How
Like-
very scholarly.
said out loud, does that? Can I make a history check and find out if it
Uh,
means anything to me?
You can.
Oh yeah, gonna use my Archibald dice because why not? 25.
25.
yeah.
Nice roll.
You don't have any knowledge of those names,
What about those concepts?
those concepts. It's a theme that has... It's mostly a folklore thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stories told to children at bedtime to, kind of scare them into submission when necessary, and
Submission.
Nothing-
That's a sentence.
nothing directly related to anything more sinister that you know of.
So,
children's nightmare tales.
oh yeah, I remember those.
Well,
They,
No, that is where I got the idea for the names.
So they're not actually called that. That's just what you named them.
I'm the only one who's really been following them for long enough to attribute categories to them. They tend to, as I said, people tend to just refer to them as the horsemen or the riders as they wreak havoc, and no one gets close enough to study them.
well,
Oh, we got
These are
very
the themes
close.
that I've observed over a period of years, so...
well, we're planning. Well, we're planning to head up the peninsula anyway. I think it probably makes sense that we do it, for the very least, with Fenrir for now. Just
You're going up the peninsula.
we're heading east.
No, you'd be better served going from Yolm, to be fair, if you're heading off continent.
Well, that
There's
is-
nothing up the peninsula as far as
That's
as far as I'm aware, besides this potential headquarters for
trying to
them.
go to Cohen. So that's where.
Yolm will be able to get you there if you like.
Okay.
And you're not gonna try and. Let's say we don't actually want to help. Well, let's just say that. You're gonna stop us, or you're
No.
just gonna let us go?
It's entirely up to you. Free will and all that. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm not going to try and stop you. I would like your help, and having your help would expedite the process greatly if I didn't have to worry about some of the more minor bodyguards, henchmen, thugs that we would have to deal with taking on a single horseman. They don't always travel together as horsemen. Sometimes they do take a large number of protective troops, I guess. So when they travel, I can't strike, but I could potentially work it out on my own.
It's just it's such an odd thing. Like, I've never heard of these at all. Beyond
people
beyond
have.
the story. So, how something so destructive hasn't been notified, or at least been wary of?
They stick to unpopulated areas for the most part. This is the first time something on such a large scale has happened that they've been the direct cause of. They try and stay away from the public eye, and I don't know what's happened that they've changed their mind. They must have a plan or something. I haven't been able to work that out. I can't get close enough.
Well, all right. Do you have an idea on how old they are when they first started?
No idea.
So are they immortal then? Possibly.
They could be. They might not be.
So go
But
on
I've
and-
seen them
Way
be
to find
hurt.
out.
My question to you is, if we decide to go help Fenrir stop him, are you going to try and stop us? Or are you going to fight alongside us?
Let's stop you guys going on a suicide mission.
I don't think it'll be a suicide
It won't be a suicide mission. I'm not going to ask you to die for me. Or for anyone else, for that matter.
Not always, from what I've seen.
They're powerful, but like I said, I think we could take one of them.
And I personally would like to wipe pestilence at least off the face of the realm before they get into the no magic zone. As I'm sure you would.
That's a good plan.
Might
We
be
don't
hard
really
pressed to get in there,
need
but I have a
aspects.
plan for going in there.
So,
You may be aware, you two, but
history check.
Yolm
Yo.
will be able to supply us with something quite useful.
A bazooka of pestilence killing?
Not quite.
What the heck is a bazooka?
It's like a
I don't know.
huacha, but a bit more compact.
His amnesia is just bringing up all kinds of things.
Known
All
as
kinds of pop culture.
generally known as personal Umbra reservoirs. Works to store Umbra. They're portable and can slow release over a period of time to essentially give you the same effect as being within range of a tower.
Right,
So-
yes.
We can acquire some of these. Yolm are particularly known for being in the mountains. Of course, there's a lot of area where umbral connection is low or non-existent, and so they have a large trade in them. We could acquire some of those and then head up into the area where there is no connectivity, and we'd still be able to have
Sorry.
our powers.
Alright, well. I'm not saying I'm
We
going to
wouldn't
help.
be going into this week.
I'm not going to say I'm going to help or anything like that. But. Alright, how long is this boat going to. How long is this journey going to take to get to Young?
To get to Yoln, well, once we reach the other side here, it's a couple days of travel up and into the mountain range.
How long is it to get to the other side of here?
Through the mountain range, take us a day or so, but we'd be going straight north along the coast. We don't want to go through if we're heading onto the peninsula.
Fairly well. Not saying I'm in this at all. But I've got time to think.
Well, I'm not going to take you anywhere where you don't have your powers, anywhere where you don't have magic, without your consent. We will reach our destination. We can discuss it further then if you'd like to think on it.
If your plan for taking them out sounds like it makes sense, then I'd be willing to help.
This plan is something I'd want full knowledge of before I even.
The
consider
plan?
cruising.
Absolutely.
I
could
don't
do with
really
something
have a
I can
choice.
think highly of myself on sitting on my conscience just about now, so I'd be willing to help.
I don't have a choice. I go with you and don't lose the most important thing in my life, or I choose to not go with you and Sulfur does. So I'm coming. No matter what the bloody plan sounds like.
Acknowledged.
Sounds like you could use all the firepower that you can get.
You look like you're a lot of that firepower. It'd be good to have you on board. I know what you're capable of. I know
That's
what
what you do.
you're all capable of, but
But I knew what you're capable of.
there's something intriguing about you.
Is it the carborundum tattoos? Is it the amnesia?
Or the
Is it the
aggressiveness.
fact that only he seems to know something about what's happened in my past?
It's the full package, although that I didn't know.
And also the aggression.
Not
That's not
aggressive! I'm joking.
He's not joking. It's like,
If I knew nothing else about him, the simple fact that Sulfur loves him as much as she loves you would be enough.
Those are that's some high praise coming from the wolf.
Wait till they ever meet her parents.
well, I think that's
That's
enough.
a whole nother story.
That's
Do you have
enough
any more
talk from me.
questions? We've still got an hour or so left.
Right now, there's a lot of information to take in.
Alright.
I want
Well,
all lies and everything just
So why did you leave?
gone.
Why did I leave? Well, about a year before I left was when I actually came across the idea, when I actually discovered the existence of the Horsemen. I was following famine, gathering more information, and I made the foolish mistake of allowing myself to be seen while I wasn't disguised. I did attempt to flee, but famine followed me far enough to know what I looked like and roughly the area that I was heading to, and I needed to get him off of your scent and off of Sulphur's scent. I had just enough time once I lost him to get back to you, say my farewells and leave. Fortunately, it seems to have worked, but I didn't want to come back and risk destroying all of that based on, well, they want to see you, and I'm sure maybe a reciprocal
Now what I
Feeling.
wanted to see.
Well, I'm glad to know. Famine's dangerous. A little bit more dangerous than pestilence. If you ever come across war or death, you'll need help. Those two are extremely dangerous.
Well, by the sounds of it, if we meet them, we won't really have much chance to get help.
Just make sure that you are prepared. You've got a long way to go, but with time, I'm sure you'll be able to take them on. Just, if you see them in the next short while, just run.
Haven't you got anyone else?
There isn't really anyone else that I trust. The closest to that would be Korma, but she's in no way cut out for fighting, and in all honesty, I wouldn't want to drag her into it either.
Sale, do you mind if I have a look at that letter that Fenrir left?
Hold that thought, because I'm pretty sure there's something in it I don't want Josh to see. Hang
I
on.
wonder if there's
There
something I
was
don't
the-
want to see.
There was the last paragraph.
Keep them close.
Yeah.
Beware of the rich one. There is more to him. I still don't know. This is my non-meta way to get the meta knowledge. I was hoping she forgot.
Persuade me to give it to you.
Roll,
my dear.
roll a persuasion check.
That's what he's good at. Please roll fucking hell. I want no knowledge.
So, sorry, I'll roll an insight check.
Roll low, roll low. That's a 10. Yeah.
That is also a 10.
Sorry, I'll set the DC, so
I met it.
you have been persuaded.
I give him a...
Okay.
Fuck yeah. Right.
So
So
you
I'm
read through the
just-
letter.
Right. So I'm just reading because I'm trying to see whether it's I'm still so iffy on him. So I'm seeing if it's like the same like handwriting that that I've seen Pacey write because we passing notes by. At
Roll a
school,
history
right?
check.
Well, I mean, beware the rich one kind of makes sense
18.
given he knows
18. It looks like any notes that you've been given by Pacey, any of Pacey's research notes that you've seen, it looks like the same
Well,
handwriting.
you're definitely Pacey.
I'm not lying to you.
But
I know
beware
that
the
it's hard
rich
to
one. There's more to him, but I simply don't know what.
You have layers.
I'm not a bloody onion.
No,
Oh, you're an
but
ogre.
Take that back. You don't even know what an ogre is.
I know there's
Yes,
more
I
to
do.
you. You know there's more to you. Not knowing about someone is dangerous, regardless of what it is you don't know. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would.
Well, after finding out who you really are, I could probably agree with that.
Just because whatever's under the surface isn't bad or inherently harmful doesn't mean that not knowing something about you isn't a dangerous thing.
You know, that warning doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing. That could be him warning me not to, I don't know, fall in love with you.
That's probably a good idea. But, you know, it's fine. You're not my
It
type.
doesn't have to be saying that there's something bad about you. Though, honestly, I'm not going to fall in love with you, so that's fine. But you're
That's fine.
definitely not my type.
Yeah, no. Same.
Couldn't be more different, you two.
There's so much information.
You're telling me.
I'm gonna have to.
I can give you some time to process if you like.
Yeah, go do whatever you do on the boat, Pacey.
Alright.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna sit around. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna sit and just start writing my book and whatnot.
Okay.
so what are we gonna need to know about the riders?
Okay.
Like,
About the riders themselves. Really only about Pestilence. Pestilence, you don't want to get too close to him. He seems to be, if not now, at some point in the past, have some form of clerical abilities. His aura affects people who get close and doesn't go away. It's a horrendous thing.
this the same.
We can get within range. You've got a cure now, if I heard correctly from before.
If it's the same thing which our buddy Sulfur
Cool.
was inflicted with, then yeah.
Coleman does good work. We
Well,
can get
you can
close
see
for the
you
fight.
Can see the effects yourself. She's been sitting at your feet for the last hour.
Yes, I can. We can get close briefly for the fight, but I wouldn't stay there for very long. It's a get in, get out kind of a thing.
Okay.
He's fast, especially on horseback, and he'll usually have some bodyguards with him. These could range anywhere from Slarty to lesser or greater beings, but when we will pick our opportunity, and when we do, we will make sure that we are on even or better grounds than he is. I intend in no way to go in when there is more than one horseman. We would be wiped all over the floors if we were to do that. But I think we can pick and choose our moment. As I said, they don't always travel together. They always travel with an entourage, but not always together. If we can pick a time when war has headed out or when Pestilence has headed out, maybe we can pick Pestilence off then.
Okay.
My plan is, since we will need some of these umbral reservoirs, my plan is maybe I can head north, set up a camp at the edge of the network's range, while you, as a party, all head to Yoln, acquire the reservoirs, and meet me back at my campsite. During that time, while you are traveling, I can scout around the peninsula. I don't need my magic to do that, and find out exactly where they are based, and then maybe observe some patterns before we move on in. We're only going to have a limited amount of umbral ability, or a limited time where we'll have umbral ability while we're there. So we want to make the best of it. We don't want to keep having to go in and out making scouting missions when one of us could do that just as effectively.
And you have the contacts to actually get that umbral. Is that it?
You don't really need contacts, not in Yoln. Yoln are a fairly egalitarian lot. They'll trade. They will exchange goods for services. Sometimes I'm sure you'll be able to manage. I have some cash, although not a whole lot, that I might be able to lend you if you need. And
I have a question.
It's the first time someone's actually wanted to lend one to me.
What would happen if we got close enough to Pestilence to be able to inject him with the cure?
I don't know. And I'm very curious to find out.
I kind of want to know. We should buy some sort of device that we can.
You mean
Do
a
that with-
syringe?
Like poison arrow type deal.
No,
We
the
could do
cure
that.
is
That's
more-
not a bad idea.
We have 16 applications. If we put 5 of them on arrows, I could try and shoot them.
My best guess is that they would disable his aura, maybe not permanently, but at least temporarily. It could have more of an effect, it could have less of an effect. I don't know, but
studying
that's a good idea.
studying the actual concoction. Do I know whether it's something that you have to ingest or it's something you can actually apply?
Make a medicine check.
I mean, we have been ingesting it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's something because he's got the notes and whatnot. So, actually, hold on. No, just one application. So that's like a 5.
That's what
Five.
you get for throwing a mammoth dice against a
Yeah,
wood
but
block.
it knows what it's done.
You don't know. You're not sure whether or not
We could
this would
try it.
work by
I'm
injection.
proficient with my alchemic tools.
Yeah, that's why you're able to study it in the first place.
Right.
And knowing you did also observe Kolma making it, so yeah, you don't know if this would work being injected.
Have you gotten many
You'd have to try.
solutions from Corn before?
I've never gotten one of these. No,
No, not this particular one.
Oh, potions.
But have you gotten any from her before?
Yeah, I
Like,
visit
anything-
Kolma for.
So how many poultices versus drinkable solutions have you had?
Uncountable amounts. She's been my medical supplier for a long time. I'd say more potions than poultices. It's generally more things that I need to drink as opposed to applied directly to a wound or.
To be fair, that kind of different concoctions require different.
Although, if I hit him
applications.
hard enough with a solution tipped arrow, it would enter the bloodstream.
Yeah, I guess
that is a good point.
we don't even know whether it's like
I'll tell you
it
what.
could just be magic.
But if we knock out his aura, you at least would be able to
Get up in his
get up
face.
in his face.
I mean, well, if I'm only worried about getting the super logi and then curing it the next day, then I suppose I can kind of afford to do it for a bit either way. But yeah, that'd be nice.
I'll tell you what. I'll spend the next however long, and I'll start analyzing the concoction and see if the application is ingested, or see if we can find a way that actually can cause from simply shooting an arrow with it.
Yeah.
My theory though, it could most likely be ingesting, but at the moment I just need a little bit more time with it.
If it is ingestion only, then you'd have a hard time with pestilence. Unfortunately,
What if I
that
shove
that
it
mask that
directly
he
into
wears
his
would.
mouth?
Yeah, that mask that he wears.
What, John could knock the mask off and then I could shoot it in his mouth.
But to get through
It's
that
possible.
aura though, that's the problem. So anything has to be all range. So someone like you might be.
You can
limited.
get up close. It's just gonna make things harder.
I'm used to regretting things the next day. It'll.
I honestly,
We'll have to deal with it.
I haven't come across any teleportation magic on these runes yet, so can't get in and out quickly enough to stab him or shove something down his throat.
I could.
Okay, so besides obviously,
I think bypass the security guard, go straight.
Can
for him.
Can I very carefully look at John and see if he seems to be suffering his hangover more than usual?
roll
What
insight
time-
check.
What time is it? It's what?
It's late.
evening?
Yeah, it's evening. Yeah.
it's morning somewhere though.
17.
17. I mean, it's evening and he's still suffering. So
never-ending.
Definitely more than I am when you were giving me the potion in the morning.
Really? Mr. puts alcohol in it.
Kept him drunk.
Have we learned our lesson?
It's difficult to stay off the drugs.
Probably,
Probably-
was just drinking.
I'm sure I can actually. Maybe I can make a concoction or something to help you out with it.
I think
Maybe.
Sariel will actually murder you if you do that.
I'm quite happy to make it for him again. My problem is more that he destroyed it by putting the very thing it was attempting to cure in it.
That won't work for you. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It comes to priority right now. No offense.
It's like putting poison in a
Probably the
healing potion.
last thing that we need to really think of.
Really? You think that having him not at his best is not important, given he's our only get up in people's faces fighter?
No, that's not what I'm thinking. Like, right now, though, I'm more curious about the plan. Otherwise, him, we can worry about a little bit later and make him focus. For now, it's all in the detail. And whether someone's up for it, that's something we have to deal later.
I'm sure it will be fine.
If I work out the concoction, then something else could work. But it could be relying too much on one thing, though, all eggs in one basket. And
We
whatnot.
won't. We'll make sure to develop the plan a little further once we have an idea of the layout of the land, exactly what we're dealing with, how many things we're dealing with. I'll have a scout around first while you're heading to Yolm, and we'll go from there.
And how will we find you?
I'll leave some clues.
Or just leave some smells?
Can do.
I feel like he's gonna find us more than anything.
Now I'm just picturing you peeing on everything. Please don't pee on everything.
I have far more subtle ways than that.
Good.
I'll hide poo.
And with that, you know Sulphur's like wagging her tail, like hard out.
Oh yeah.
She's just like really happy about that. Considering what was it like 3 days ago she ate Silkiska's vomit?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
I was able to forget about that.
Yeah,
Sounds
well,
like
the image is burned into our brains, so you don't get to.
it's starting to sound like I'm gonna have the worst
You
birthday
know-
present ever. Oh well.
Archibald, she does owe you a pretty good bloody licking. Like a bloody.
That sounds like a threat. You're stuck on the boat.
I think she
Your
only
birthday.
succeeded at licking Silkus. Oh no, she
Coming
did
up.
lick John.
Few days.
She was covered in blood.
We'll try to avoid fighting them on your birthday.
Thanks for that.
Hey, birthday.
Let's see how
is
it
coming
goes.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Aye.
I'll see if you live beyond that if we go through that. So.
Birthdays aren't that important.
That's where we're going
I
to
beg to
agree to
differ.
disagree.
What's
Yours is coming up too.
birthday?
They don't know that.
All right.
They do now.
Quick.
Well,
When did I meet you?
I promise you right now, Fenrir, if you tell them the exact date of my birthday, I will shoot you in the testicles with an arrow.
Luckily,
She
though,
said
that she can't
she
use
said
it.
that a lot during the trip. I actually think she means it.
She
be
means
fair.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, she definitely means it.
To be fair, though,
I have no intention of getting shot with an arrow there.
she has to use the bow to actually get to you, so you
She's
probably
got
need
another one.
break
She's more than capable.
it.
I'm sure she could pull back this bow if
I'm
she
actually
was
kinda-
that angry at me.
Curious, when did we first meet you?
As a,
Archibald.
oh,
When did we first meet you? What was the date?
It's about
The
26 days
19th
ago.
of Floor Rising.
Well,
16 days.
happy remembering day.
happy remembering day.
I feel like that's the day that I stopped remembering things.
Take a positive spin on it.
Happy forgetting day.
Happy forgetting day. You know, that sounds nicer. We'll keep this until you actually remember your own birthday.
Independence from your past.
Independence from your past. Oh, independence from your past.
Well, we are approaching the coast. If you have any further questions, I'd be happy to give some more answers, at least questions about myself. you know,
You're taking a
I
different.
have too
travelled.
many questions and not enough time.
You're taking a different road than the one to Yolng, or?
yes, once we hit the coast here, I'll head north. You can all head south to Yoln, and I will meet you up north on the coast.
All right then.
Don't worry, John. Sopha will find him.
Okay.
We'll make sure of that.
And she will have fun doing it if he's actually going to hide poo.
You'll have to
I-
find out.
I look at Sulphur's like.
Nobody,
I'm
nobody
imagining still wagging tail.
from the minute we leave Yom to the minute we find him, nobody lets Sulphur lick their face unless Archibald has prestoed her tongue first. Alright?
I
And
rarely
don't
do
need no
anyway.
pink eye in the party.
Okay. Well, with that, he goes back to. He kind of walks around the gun walls of the boat, just letting all of the rowers know that they are coming within range, and he's going to be giving some more orders soon. As the boat comes closer to the coast, you watch him as he casts another spell, and he reapplies Disguise Self. He turns back into the grey-skinned tiefling that went by Cavell. And the barge begins to drift in towards a dock on the other coast of the Gulf.
I also reapply Disguise Self.
Okay, mark it off.
I have.
Good.
Sorry, what's happening?
We are drifting
We're
into
pulling up to the coast.
the next
So
coast.
told you we'd make our boat journey without any issues.
As you come in here, you look at the incoming town, and you see the same things pretty much as you saw on the other side. It looks like a carbon copy, just mirrored across to the other side. You've got it's starting to light up now that it's in the shadows of the mountains and the sun is setting. There are some everlit lamps that are strewn around the place that you can see are now becoming more prominent. Some candles and other lanterns that are being lit for the night, and the town is starting to light up, and occasionally, every now and again, you see a figure move in front of the light.
Humanoid?
Sometimes they are large and
They
frog-shaped.
jumping.
No
They're
jumping.
very high.
You don't see
No.
any jumping.
You know, I think
Something not
I'd be
following us.
happier camping out in the hills again tonight rather than trying to find a place to stay in this town.
You want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Don't talk to anyone. Just go south. There's a path that will lead you straight to the base of the mountains that Yoln is on. You'll be able to climb your way up there. Once you're out of sight of this town, you should be much safer from its inhabitants.
Thanks for your help.
You're more than welcome. He walks around barking orders now in the Cavell voice that he was doing previously, and the rowers bring the barge in to a halt. One of them jumps out and ties it off to the wharf and chucks the gangplank down, and they all start dismounting the boat and disembarking, and Fenrir himself in his Cavell disguise jumps off, and you see him walk across the wharf to a small building on the edge that looks like probably the boatmaster's, the harbour master's house, or their building. He goes in, has a brief discussion. You can see through the window as he kind of gestures a little bit, and then walks back out, seemingly settled with whatever fee must have been paid to land the boat. And with that, he gives a quick glance around, makes sure no one else is watching, looks over, gives you a bit of a half salute, half wave, and then walks off to your left.
Josh
North.
is just the chimera one he made up.
Yeah, exactly. Walks off to the left, heading north, up the coast, and you can see, looking out, there is a path leading south and a path leading north from your current position. So,
I'm going south.
what would you like to do?
Go south.
You know, let's head off the boat and try and make our way south out of town.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I want to do it as stealthily as possible and not draw any attention to us at all.
okay.
My
So-
cloak is black like the night.
Good.
I mean, I'm not
As-
hiding the fact that I exist. I'm just trying not to be conspicuous.
I'm hiding the fact that John exists.
Just like black as the night around me. You don't really have to do this. I'm doing it.
So, in all your different ways, you are being stealthy in some way. So, everyone make a stealth check for me,
Hells
please.
to the yes. I'm
Um,
great at stealth.
For Sulfur as well, please.
I'm bad at stealth.
Stealth is
30-20.
pretty good at stealth.
Dirty 20.
I am
Might I retroactively ask for pass without a
22.
trace?
22 for you.
yes, and sulfur is +4. 15.
15.
Can I
No, probably not.
use performance? Because I am not hiding per se. I'm just doing what I did last time.
He
Where
is an
I'm being
actor.
I'm an actor.
Okay.
dramatic.
Yeah, you've convinced me. You've convinced me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Roll performance check instead of stealth.
It's gonna
This
be
will
a
go
one.
towards your
9.
9.
It's better than what it would have been with
And
6.
9.
also 9. Okay. So with that, you kind of spread yourselves out a little bit. Silpus, you make it known, not to an observer that you're there. You make it known that you're confidently walking towards a particular direction.
I make the hunch again. I kind of do
You
a
have a
little.
purpose.
Yeah, I kind of change a little bit my stance a little bit, and like I change like where my legs kind of a bit stiff, just a little bit of a limp, you know.
Yep.
Kind of like almost like one leg is like a little bit shorter than the other, so I'm kind of like changing it up,
Yep.
and I'm just gonna try and walk that way,
Okay.
talk this
So you give
way.
yourself a bit of a purpose. John, you do much the same thing, although you take a bit of distance from Silkus as you
Yeah.
follow along behind, not hiding your presence, but just walking with a purpose. Archibald, Sariel, and Sulfur, you try and stick to the shadows and seem to have a pretty successful time doing it. Mostly attention is being drawn away by these two as they wander down the streets.
Thanks, buddy.
You do
Yeah.
pass by a couple of larger figures, a couple of Slutty, who give you a quick glance, the both of you. One of them growls at John as he walks past, but they don't make any advances otherwise. And you eventually reach the outskirts of the town and move past the final buildings into the rocky areas at the foot of the Daling Range Minor,
Great.
heading south. And you see the path here leads just along the coast, pretty much straight south, where in the distance you can see a huge mountain formation coming up, and maybe at this time of the night, just the barest hint of some lights up on top.
Right. So, should we? I just arch back again, shake my leg a little bit. So, what's the plan now? Do we want to set up camp soon, or
Yeah, get out outside
Let's
of town.
take a couple more hours walk before we do.
Not a
That
bad
wouldn't
idea.
be a
I'd
bust
like
of
to
some
get
extra
out of
distance.
sight of the lights from the town before we can.
Yeah.
probably a better idea?
Okay.
You two gonna be okay though,
I'll be fine.
right?
It's a paved path. It won't be too hard.
I've got a
presumably.
shiny cloak to follow, or coat.
It's only shiny if it's really
I'm just gonna focus in on the umbral essence of his presto jacket. I'm just gonna follow him. It's the blind literally leading the blind. But oh no.
Can we just automatically assume any time that we're walking in the dark, I will send Sulfur to help guide one of the two blind people?
Unless you state otherwise, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll
Because I'll need it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Wolf.
You can decide amongst yourselves which one of you she's actually guiding at the
Cool.
moment,
I'll take
or
it.
if
Just-
you're both
just-
standing on either side of her, or what.
both on
but
either side, both of us just giving us scritches just the whole way.
This is my seeing eye dog. Really? Usually only one. Usually seeing eye dogs only have one person. How
Economic.
many do I have?
Just like -5 penalty to stealth for tail wagging.
Yeah.
I was
So-
thinking drooling.
I was kind of picturing like
Because,
you know
you get the right spots. Like,
Yeah.
you get those like those people like jump on a ship and such and just stowaways basically, but for like a wolf, like a blind person, like just fall in another like blind dog. So like you have like 5 on one.
Yeah.
The others don't know. It's like
It's like the opposite of doggy daycare, dog walking.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
It is.
exactly.
walking the blind
Absolutely.
man.
Walking
Yeah.
blind.
15 blind men.
Just one very patient dire wolf.
Yeah.
15 blind people.
A
So,
wolf and like
with
15
that-
lemon went into a bar.
You head around a gradual bend of the coast and eventually out of sight of the smugglers' town.
Is it
Yeah.
pretty though?
It
Like,
is
looking
pretty.
over there? That's nice.
It is pretty, looking back and seeing the lights, and it's the only settlement that you can see along the entire coast from your position, all the way up and down, with the only hint of another settlement being the tops of the mountains directly south of you. And it's just isolated there, this little ball of light on the coast, and very, very opposite you see the other coast, just barely another glow from the same where you came from. You round this gradual bend, eventually losing sight, and you find a spot to bed down. And taking your preparations for the night, is there anything people want to do in particular before going to sleep and taking watches?
I'm going to try to string the bow on my own.
Okay. Roll a strength check for me.
Well,
Athletics
you can
check,
do
I
it.
mean.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You manage to string the bow again, but you are still unable to draw back on it, and you're still noticing that one room lighting up.
Okay. Well, that's progress.
Celsius?
Doing my best, trying to remember what Pacey was doing back at the academy, and just jotting down whatever I can think of, and just also going through the concoction, see if I can apply it to like a weapon or so.
Okay. So for this, we'll have you study that over the course of a few nights,
Yep.
and I will say use up 3 uses for your experimentations, of what you're withdrawing from it to actually study. It's going to take 3 uses
Sure.
of the potion to get something out of it. So for this night, we'll get you rolling a medicine check, please.
Medicine. I get to add proficiency though, because I am proficient with alchemic tools.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Thank you. Because what's the point
You're
of having
already
them?
proficient, aren't you?
I'm proficient in alchemic supplies, but no, I'm not proficient in medicine.
Right.
So
well,
it
natural
all
20.
works. No,
Oh dear.
no, that's fine. First night, it's always rough. That's fine.
It's natural 20 adjacent. No, it was natural 1 adjacent, sorry.
No, it's also natural 20 Jason, like this side
Shouldn't
too.
have been.
That's a 7.
Oh.
So, just keep filling, keep adding,
Okay.
until I say otherwise.
So Josh has a number.
Here's a number.
It's
Your prof plus
rather
2.
untrustworthy number. He's reading his sheet to find out exactly how much to add to it. He's doing some mental maths.
Keep
He's
maths.
cursing
Oh,
his
it's all
dice.
If you take the digits of the number and add them together, you get 9.
So, the good news, it's countable by everyone that knows how to count.
Yep.
Bad news is you can count it all on one hand.
It was a 4.
5.
It's a 5. Okay.
You're just like, go for a little extra.
In that case, so what I'll
Thank you for
retroactively
listening.
say, instead of using 3 uses, tonight you use 2,
Shiza.
and for the night until you reach essentially Fenrir's camp, the time that you have to study it, you'll use more uses with each attempt.
Let's go. I can always
So
make more.
if he's using 2, that means it's 14.
Yes. Quick maths.
There are 14 left.
No padding for that.
So you have 14 uses left, and you have started the process of studying the remedy to figure out whether or not you could use, what ways you could use it, and what applications it could potentially have beyond just ingesting to cure the aura. Anything else that people want to do?
I'm going to spend some time in deep introspection and thought, meditating particularly on the story of the horseman, trying to remember what I can out of it.
Okay.
And also, I'm specifically trying to remember the name of the author, like if that was publicly known. And also, I'm trying to figure out if I know anything about the school that Fenrir and Silkus mentioned.
Okay. I'll get you to roll a. I'll get you to roll a history check for me for the night.
35? No, sorry, 25? 27.
I was like, you're not quite at the 15 yet.
But yeah, I will be.
But how does
27.
25 work for you?
Okay.
It was 27.
With that
How does
roll,
25 work?
we are going to go to break.
Hey, leave it on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
Sort of. Like a hill. A really,
I
really shallow hill.
forced his hand.
So we'll be back in about 10 minutes, and
Sweet.
we'll continue from here with the party just bedding down for the night, heading to Yolm.
Yong.
Interesting place for you all
Yong
to
going
be.
down there.
Yolm. Yolm.
Yo, be safe over there, you hear?
And I can't do it from here, so I'm going to have to go over there. So, we'll be back shortly. Glenn,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm just so curious about whether these
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
portable magic containers are fragile, you know?
Oh, they
Oh, I really hope they're made of some form of metal. Josh, you said that on stream.
Not quite.
Damn. Yes.
Did, however, accidentally switch the fucking thing to the wrong scene. So enjoy the world map, guys.
So in
You
short-
are supposed to have been able to see that. So there you go. Have a look. That's the world map of Genovoa right there.
Beautiful.
We need like a little you are here.
We are down the bottom left in Dalandar.
Dalandau.
We're like, are we like right where the like A intercepts the little leg?
You are where the O intercepts
okay.
the little leg. The second,
We're in the upside down Italy at this point.
Yes, because we just went over the Gulf, Michael.
Yeah, just
Looks like
cross the
looks
gulf.
like a foot upside down, or an emu's head.
I had to move
Like a
myself
weird
for a
swan,
stat block to
actually.
see that.
Looks like a weird
Put
swan.
it back.
Oh, I did.
Good.
Sulfur's safe now.
Get
So-
back where you belong.
Now
We
that
gotta
you've
know
all
where she is at all times.
had a
guys.
moment to study that,
I've already forgotten it.
bring us back. Yes, I know.
We are right there.
Returning
Of the king.
as
Where'd you put him?
you all
Where'd you go?
bed down for the night and you take your watches as necessary. And Archibald,
We're setting for damage.
you begin to deeply meditate, trying to extract any information that you can possibly get out of your very blank history.
God damn this blank slate.
I would like everybody to please leave the room except for Glenn.
Oh, you get out. You go finish your dinner
I-
outside.
Hannah, I will
had
text
my
you
food
when
and
we are
everything.
done.
God damn it! I had food. Yeah,
Can I just deafen because then I have to like get out of the actual room.
I'm giving this restaurant a.
You'll see that I'm deafened. I'll take my headset off.
You can,
I'll take my headset off.
I'm gonna have my service anyway on menu log. Damn.
turn off your camera.
Close your eyes. Shut your ears.
Ah!
That's really horrifying.
Didn't
Yeah.
think about that.
Turn off
did
your
ya?
camera and deafen, and then we should be good
She's
to go.
deafened.
Yep, sweet.
Right.
So, Archibald,
Hello.
as you sit down and begin to meditate, you're there in deep concentration for about half an hour, thinking back on the events of the day, when all of a sudden your mind is ripped from your current body
Oh.
and you are sent into what appears to be some form of memory.
Okay.
You are not in a body.
Damn,
You have a
I'm
view.
astral projecting.
You have a view
Yeah.
immediately of what looks like a large meeting room of sorts. There is a large rectangular with curved ends table down the middle. There is a number of seats lying along, and there is a young human man sitting in one of the seats on the side of the table. Across you can see a number of windows on one wall and then a door on the other with, it looks like, some form of slate chalkboard along the wall on on the wall with the door. You sit there for a moment, you see the human man twiddling his thumbs a little bit, and then the door swings in. Another person walks in and the door closes, and you can see this person, this newcomer, is another human, tall, quite graceful in movement, and wears a sleeveless robe of some sort. Seems to come down in two almost tassel ribbon-like things in the front and then flow off behind him. And rather ornate-looking clothes. But you notice immediately that the sleeveless arms are covered in tattoos.
Okay.
They look very similar to yours.
Right.
He walks through the door, and as it shuts behind him, he turns to the other man sitting in the seat at the table, and he says, "Hello, It's good to have you here. My name is Andialo. Your teachers have suggested that you are quite gifted. And the young man turns and says, really? I'm trying my best. Why have you brought me here? And Andialo says, I have an opportunity for you. You can only get so much here at the Academy of Umbrella Betment. Chimeria doesn't have much more to offer you. With your skill set, we can do a lot more. If you will allow me, I can take you back to my facility in Usen, and we can begin training you for something much better than this. And the young man looks up at him and he says, what do you mean, better? And the other responds with, you will become a great asset to Usen and to the world. You will be known by many, maybe feared by some, and you will be very powerful. That I can assure you. And then your vision slowly fades to black. A few more words enter your brain as you're coming back into your own body. You do get the name of the author that you remember, some childhood books. Ibram Zak, which is Ebrum, and then the last name is Zakh. And a couple of gibberish words as you're coming back into your own consciousness.
What was the name of the tattoo dude, sorry?
Andialo. Andialo.
Okay. During that, I realize it's memory, but the guy sitting there that Andialo is talking to, is that me? Is that...
You've seen your reflection.
Yeah.
It wasn't you.
Okay. And when he said, training, like preparing to train, I'm just gonna, like, Archibald just speaks up. Training me for what? Or training for what? Like, as if he's trying to get a response, but
Okay.
I'm assuming he doesn't get one.
Are you, you don't?
Yeah.
Not from the dream. Are you, or not from the memory, are you doing this during someone else's watch?
I would be, yeah.
Or, okay. Okay. Probably earlier in the night rather than later?
Yeah. Really depends on how long it took, but...
Okay. Good to know. Any more questions?
No. I don't think so. Who sends up that call? Never mind. Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
I got whispers. Everyone had to leave.
We will bring everybody back in now. Okay, they should be coming back in shortly. Here they come. Everyone have fun in there? Yep. Welcome back. Hannah? Session's over, guys. You can all go home.
Archibald killed everybody.
Have a noble lizard steed.
He had a nightmare and killed everyone.
Sorry, guys. Everyone roll new characters.
Oh, great! I was talking to you about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't have the setup to
Damn.
include you, Hannah, in our break campaign.
Yeah.
Nice
tell
to
you.
see that you actually finished your dinner as well.
Well, look, this restaurant was poor customer service. I give it at least 1 star on menu log. Yeah, now come back.
Did somebody say menu log?
So, can I get a watch order for the night, please?
Watch order.
Me, I'll be first.
Yes, I will have a. I'm gonna stop that.
I'm happy to go second.
I'll go third. Sure.
I'll go
Okay.
fourth.
So, Sariel, you settle down.
We wake up there, I swear to God.
The others head to sleep. Silkus finally stops scratching his quill. Heads to sleep. John's asleep immediately.
Just watch him plump up his dog hair pillow.
Yeah. After your campfire discussion, with each person going a separate way, and kind of heading off into your corners of the campsite, Archibald goes over and sits down on his bedroll, and you see him kind of sit up, straight backed, and go into what looks like a deep meditation.
Okay.
He concentrates there, and you start your watch. Roll a perception check for me, and roll
Just
one
me?
with advantage for sulfur as well.
Okay.
So,
I'll do mine first.
just so I know, was there a chat that happened that I was out of earshot for, but I knew about, or did nothing actually happen for my character to see?
Nothing of note has happened.
Okay, yeah.
Dirty 20 for sulfur
Something
Dirty
of note
20?
happened 20 years
and
ago.
14 for me.
14 for you. Okay.
I am not as
We should just start making up
Much
our own
paying attention.
backstory for him.
That's what I'm doing.
So, Sariel, you sit on watch for about half an hour
Frosted flakes.
while your friends sleep and Archibald meditates.
well. Sketchy Jake does sketchy things.
Yeah. And then, out of nowhere, suddenly Archibald speaks.
Training for what?
Archibald, just 3 words come out of Archibald's mouth. He says, "Training for what?" And then he goes quiet again. Still in meditation.
I was hoping young Brent's
Okay.
voice.
Mental note, ask about that later.
Okay. With that, besides that, your watch goes uneventfully. The rest of you, same thing. At the foot of the mountains here, alright, on the coast, the slow sounds of the waves coming in against the shore is quite relaxing. And the open landscape here doesn't exactly lend itself to predators moving in and around. It's a fairly barren area, mostly rocky, with the occasional patch of dirt or gravel, and some sand just along the very edges of the coast. Sound of the waves relaxes you, and the wind, the slight breeze that passes through the gulf here and up the side of the mountains. And then in the morning, you all come to. You've all had a long rest, which you can now
Hey.
take.
Wait.
Better change my prepared spells.
It's around
36 HP. Yes.
Gonna change jump.
I'm going to make John tea.
Oh.
And I'm going to watch him while he drinks it.
Okay. So, do you accept?
I'll accept the tea, and I'll drink the tea.
Well, you
Thank-
meddle with my tea.
I will not meddle with your tea.
Good boy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But also, please do not refer to me the same way that you might a dog.
Okay.
Instead of John.
My apologies. It wasn't meant to be insulting.
Okay.
I've never said good girl to Silver and meant it.
Okay.
Ibram Zach. It's the author of the guy. That's the guy who wrote the book about the Horsemen.
Sorry?
Oh, you spoke last night.
What did I say?
Training for what? And then
Down
You
for
didn't
what?
say-
Sorry?
anything else.
That's oddly non sequitur.
So what are you all talking about?
Archibald having dreams.
Is this,
Oh, don't we all?
is this Ibram Zach fellow, was he alive recently enough to be relevant to us?
But I know anyone by that name?
Yeah.
Much in the way that like the authors of fairy tales nowadays,
Right.
some of them
Like-
passed
Yeah,
in the
like
last
Grimm's
100, 200
books.
years,
Like-
but
Hans Christian Andersen.
yes, exactly.
Would I know anything about the author? By this name?
When Archibald mentions the name,
Yeah.
you recognise it as a popular children's author.
Of
essentially.
course. You know when you have like you know who it is, but you can't remember the name. Then as soon as they say it, you're like, of course, I forgot that.
I believe Archibald's very familiar with that feeling.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like. I'm just trying to like, make him feel like not excluded. You know, I want to include him into things.
I'm wondering.
Damn.
Like, I got most of the book last night when I was meditating and trying to remember
You got
actively,
most of the book.
but I couldn't remember all of it. But I definitely remember Ibram Zach's name. I'm curious now where he got his inspiration for it.
Oh.
Well, most legends and
I think that's worth.
it's based on truth.
Yeah, but how does he know that truth? He's written about 4 horsemen. I'd like to know how he knows about them. I just think it's a potential investigative thread. If we can find a book written by him, maybe it's got an about the author section or something, and we can find out where he's based.
Well, I do know that the direction we're going. Plenty of books there.
Do you mean Yoln or all the way in Wildervale?
Oh no, not Wintervale. Wintervale's all nothing but coldness. No.
Usen?
No, not Usen. We're going not
Oh,
there.
Kylan.
Kyan. Yeah. Or Kyan. Books are all there. I mean, if it's, I don't know if it's
The
likely
names
to happen.
Oscar look really smug.
It's all coming to
because-
plan.
It's because we don't know something and he does.
Oh, you don't even.
That's the Noah look.
It's typically the reasons for my smug smiles, and the second smaller smug smiles that I had under that.
So
It's
what's the
always a
name of this,
disappointment when
this
you've
art-
prepared your
art
second smaller smug smile and then no one knocks the first one
Yeah,
off.
I know, right?
It's like, what a waste.
Oscar, what's the name of the?
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
Ibram Zach. So it's spelled Ebrum, and the last name is Zakh.
Cool.
So I think that is a potential line of investigation.
I mean, it could be, but
A bit skeptical, but worth looking into, I
absolutely.
guess.
It seems more
Like-
like a stretch of anything. Granted, he could have got inspiration.
If he's in Yolm, we might as well go say hi.
Who said it was in Yong?
If he's in Yolm. I mean, it's on our way
Wait,
to go kill Pestilence.
he's still alive?
I don't know.
Hmm.
It's a
You
big
always find
if.
out.
I know his name.
Do
I know
what-
his work. I don't know much else.
Mr. DM, do I know
Okay.
race? Do I know what race he is?
Roll a history check.
I know I do this
Come
myself.
on.
Josh, this is why
be a
you end up
dwarf.
with a street check.
18.
18.
Beard
Um,
wolf.
Be a dwarf. Be a dwarf.
Inspiring words.
You know Ibram's Act to have been a halfling.
Halfling.
A blue dragon.
Dimensional travelers killed him last year.
Alright, well, if I'm thinking about it then, if he's a halfling, that he is, it's unlikely the books will probably be in UN.
Kylan?
That too. Yeah, there's many places with names. They all have similar things.
Names?
Yes.
Oh.
But if it's going to be common, then it's probably not the case. We high elves have kind of a standard, and not saying they're down there is a bit higher than normal.
Okay.
So if it's young as we could definitely look at young, but I'm thinking if it's going to be, if we want to look for this book or look for the author, Cowan probably not be the place.
Well, we're planning. Well, we're not really planning on passing through your preferred libraries before meeting up with Pestilence. So,
That's a good point.
and when I say meeting up,
I mean that, yeah. Not saying I'm actually going to go with that. Still very, very iffy on the whole apocalyptic horse thing. It's just, it sounds to me more like a suicide run, honestly. That's what it sounds like. Just, I mean, let's be honest. We've been traveling together for about a week or so, and
2.
that's why I said so. And
Started
as
giving
far as-
yourself linguistic outs, and I hate it.
and it's not like we really know each other, and you definitely don't even know yourself. I don't think we'd really stand a chance, just by what
do you want to
by
know?
what
That's
Pacer
why
says.
I reckon we should get as much information as we can.
The book doesn't have
potentially right from
weaknesses. It's just a
source.
children's story, and
Yeah,
if
it's
anything,
Yeah, but it might have
children's.
information we need. He's not wrong.
Just because
You
of,
who loves knowledge,
Love
surely
knowledge.
a book
yes.
on a target would be good.
Look, I'm sure I have the signature of the author as a kid, but
just because a children's
Legends are
book
stories,
says
they ring from truth.
that's what
just
I said.
because a children's book says don't play with knives doesn't mean the Freddy Four-Fingered Rider didn't
Oh, you know him.
have personal experience with the subject matter.
Yeah, he sold like 5 books. not the best. I'm surprised you actually know about him.
So am I.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, it's possible that this guy might know something.
He might have just heard stories.
That's what I'm
Or-
saying, though. It's a stretch.
But if he's in Yom, we might as well look.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's not like it's not exactly the best idea to go searching just for this one.
we're,
I think
we're passing through. We can
Yeah.
spend half a day in the library.
I'm happy to spend a whole day in a library. Many, if so.
Fucking nerd.
Let's not go. Let's not go over the top here.
Sorry, that's educated. So,
I'm just talented.
fucking sorcerers and their bullshit jock like sorcery.
Mate, I'm a wizard.
Question that so much.
So do I.
I don't know what this guy got cooked up in his back of his head.
Yes.
It's all here at the front of my head.
It's actually coming forward. That's why his hair's going back to orange.
Yeah.
It's been cooking.
Could you
well
like
done.
like noodles? You're like not noodles like spaghetti. You know when
Right.
it does go slightly brown.
I don't know how long you're cooking your spaghetti for, but you
Why am I friends with
you
you?
don't
lot
evaporate
again?
all the water off first.
I have not cooked a meal.
So shall we proceed to Yolm?
First,
Yes.
Let's get
let's
going.
eat and then yes.
Okay.
Hearty breakfast.
Wait,
we're gonna
before
do
we
what?
go,
Yeah.
retrospectively, I want to try to get Sulfur to wake up.
Oh no.
Archibald.
I'm taking last watch.
He didn't take last
Damn it.
watch, so.
Well played.
She doesn't know that, so she's gonna try and wake him up anyway.
She's gonna try,
He's a
but
bitch.
she's gonna find that she's
Okay, well, if you're
absolutely
standing
covered
up,
in soil from my prestidigitation right before she woke up.
this is gonna be an interesting little challenge for her.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Like, what are you gonna do when she opens her eyes? Just be like, ha!
Pretty much.
This is gonna be an interesting challenge for her. Just, yeah, moving on.
So, you eat, and you all begin to head south once more for the day. You start to move up an incline, start to ascend up into further into the range as you can see the closer you get to the end of the gulf, the two mountain ranges come together and form one giant super range. I'm glad.
Fire, water.
I'm glad that tickled you so much.
Yeah, take my fancy.
So it's now the 6th of Florence.
Yes. Sorry, everyone marked that off. And as you begin to draw closer and the incline gets steeper and steeper, looking ahead, you can see that probably about another day's travel away, although the mountains make this pretty easy to see. You can see where there is a carved out staircase winding up through parts of the mountain.
There's some big ass stairs if we can see them from a day away.
Yeah, they look huge.
Like the actual.
You can see it's a not a smooth incline.
Right.
You can see that there's something carved out, but you can definitely see the outline of the way that they wind. And getting up this incline and looking over the further down the gulf, it's all stone walls coming up and around the end of the water, except for the very end where you can see what looks to be a bustling harbour. As you've been moving here, you've seen a couple ships go up and down, but they are docking and leaving from a very large harbour way up ahead that you can't make out detail, but you can definitely tell there's a lot of timber involved and a lot of traffic. So you continue further and further, eventually moving through one whole day of travel. Before we go any further, is there anything people want to do this night?
You already know what I want to do.
Okay, roll an athletics check.
Concoctions and whatnot.
Roll a medicine check.
I also want to see if I have enough time. I want to see if I can concoction. That's not how it's worded.
19.
Okay.
Something for his hangovers. I have these.
You can
good
do
stuff.
one or the other tonight.
One or the other. Priority at the moment.
Definitely hangovers.
Definitely hangovers. And you know what I do in these situations? I don't roll. I say concoction, please.
Okay.
And I picked up the wrong
I
die.
was very scared for what you were going to do there. Roll a medicine check.
Throw it at Oscar.
Roll a medicine check.
Should just play odds and evens for it.
With the proficiency?
With proficiency.
Yeah.
So plus 2 for your proficiency.
Yeah, so that's 12.
12. You still use 2. However, you do get you make a little bit more progress tonight.
Okay.
You consider this essentially a progress bar here. Sariel, you get the bow strung, but again, are unable to pull it back.
I am focusing in on the 2 names that I got last night.
Okay.
So names.
Roll in this case, I'll get you to roll an Arcana check. If you had done that again, I would have been fucking mad.
Stream
Everyone
over.
leave the room.
24.
Okay.
You can only
that
get
case-
So
visitors
is us
once a
setting
night.
ourselves up to camp again?
Hey?
Are we setting ourselves up to camp again?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I'm going to cross off another day. So
Yep, all good. In that case, I will send you some information after tonight.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I'm getting information.
you all bed down,
What do you do? I get
take your
information.
watches, and you sleep for the night.
Prick.
I'm taking last watch again
Yep.
because I've discovered an interesting perk when it comes to taking that one.
Okay.
I'm-
Everyone mark off another day. So we are now in 7, Florence 7, day 280.
I'm going to, for specifically this one, I'm going to spend 4 hours working on the concoction and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other 4 I'm going to be trancing. Or better yet, the other way around.
So you're going to. So
Trance,
you've.
then do the
So
stuff.
before everyone goes to sleep, you've worked on the concoction, and now you've got 4 hours of non-trancy stuff that you can do.
I'm gonna say yeah. So I'll
You
go
gonna keep
for
working on
trance
the
at the beginning.
concoction?
I'll continue doing the concoction.
Roll another medicine check for me.
Hey,
Don't use all of the concoction, please.
that's okay. I can make it.
100% understand. Well, yeah, if we had the ingredients.
Oh, we got some ingredients still. I picked some up from Coma, from the leftovers that we had.
I don't know if you have any sign on Ethereum, but you do have a lot of the others.
Well, we can work on it. We can work on this. 14.
14.
Wow,
You use only one,
Yeah.
and you make some more progress.
I will be very irritated if I find out that we have a full understanding of how it works and none of it left.
Okay. Yeah,
For
we
my
still
own
got
reference,
double
how much do you
digits.
have left?
11.
11. Okay.
Got double digits, guys. We're still good for double digits.
Okay.
It's kind of worth the science.
With that, yep, long rest, everyone.
It's now the 7th.
And we are on day
Sulphur's
7.
going to jump up, provided he didn't dump anything on her tonight. And
Sulphur's
she's
gonna-
going to ram into the back of his knees, like tackle him pretty much from the back, like fall on his back and lick his face.
Yeah, well,
Roll a contested athletics check.
I would actually like to make a different type of check.
Yes, a history check.
No, I just wanted to try and get a spell off first.
I cast Shield.
Levitate.
18.
18.
Burning Hands.
And since you are taking watch, and you are prepared for this,
Yeah.
what are you trying to do?
I just want to make Sulphur fully white.
With it, what, just super clean, or?
No, just white fur. Just to throw her off as she's moving towards me.
Well, she's looking first
It's
person.
not going to throw her off. She can't see herself.
She's also
So, yeah,
colorblind.
pause. That's why I chose white.
Good point. No, good point.
Presto doesn't work on organic matter.
Worth a shot.
I was going to say, if he does this, she's no longer going to lick him. She's going to bite his ass until he takes the bit.
You could try to soil her with like a
White
magical
out.
flower. Just like
I'll take the tackle.
Okay.
I'll take it.
You get tackled, you turn, and you kind of go to cast Presto, but
that's
she
upsetting.
tackles you and licks your face.
Still don't win.
She's
Still
like
white
got her
before
feet
me.
on his chest and she's like licking him.
Use the wand. Use the
Oh god.
not use
Meteor swarm.
I just want to remind you guys that her flaw is that she jumps on creatures to tell them how much she loves them.
That's a flaw.
Yeah. Apparently.
So she just loves him.
Aww. You know what? Don't use the
Yay,
wand.
I'm loved. You know what? I was thinking about it, and then now I'm not.
Huh, yep. Glad I could persuade you. You monster.
Now, before you head off, is there anything anyone wants to do? You do have a marching order.
Like, I don't feel like the road is super dangerous. I imagine we're just sort of loosely
Did-
clumped.
Did Archibald want to use disguise self again?
What does the weather look like today?
Yeah, well, what's today
Um,
like?
Fine.
Yeah.
There aren't
Yes,
many
same.
clouds in the sky.
Okay.
Sunny with
um,
fancy meatballs.
It is chilly
Yep.
up here in at higher altitudes. But looking ahead, you don't see snow.
Right. I think I will use the foundation instead.
Okay.
You have 3 applications of that, right? So
You do.
Well,
What's
now's
foundation?
probably a good time because I don't know. I will probably be out in public for more than an hour.
sure.
I'm pretty sure if
Go
I
ahead
cast a
and-
spell, however, it's going to burn the foundation off.
Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
I am definitely getting help with this.
Okay.
I will put it on. I put my own face paint on every.
In that case, Sarah will roll a sleight of hand check with advantage.
Thank you. And I will find the page that I listed it on.
Hey. 16.
16. You
The other roll was a
apply-
3, so we should be glad of the advantage.
You apply the foundation over. It takes you a little bit, but you manage to cover up. You're pretty satisfied with the way that you've covered his tattoos up. There is a little bit around the facial hair where it's been a little bit difficult to get it there, but for the most part, that's already covered in its own. And yeah, he looks pretty clean-skinned.
Well, thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Quick retrospective question.
Yes, we like those today.
John and Fenrir discussed his birthday. Did they give a date?
No.
Okay. This is me just being curious because I know they're based on our birthdays, which means that me and Michael were born in the same month.
John mentioned it briefly while you were all having a conversation, and Fenrir noticed and was like, "Oh, your birthday's coming up soon," and that was it, pretty much.
Okay. You know what? That's just Hannah being curious. 'Cause, yeah.
Well, you'll find out,
Or I won't find
Oh,
out if he
fine.
doesn't mention it.
or you won't if he doesn't
No,
mention
I
it.
might
Those
have
are
to
two
go on
options.
Facebook later and find out.
So, with this next day, you begin walking, and you do find that you're on a relatively narrow path. At this stage, you've got cliffs to one side and cliffs going up to the other side. And as you walk, you look ahead, you've still got the traffic coming in and out. A ship maybe every hour or two comes in and out of this harbour. And as you approach, the chill air is biting at you, the wind's a little stronger up here. And the smell of the sea is getting a little bit more distant. Obviously, the Gulf is coming to a point, and you're getting higher up. The smell that is now getting carried to you is coming, looks with the wind from the direction you're heading. The wind is heading against you, and you are catching the sense of a bustling city. You are smelling food, you are smelling fumes from blacksmiths and other such similar establishments.
I animated like
Smelling, in particular, the rancid smells of tanneries, and
Hearing the explosions of the gunpowder factories.
yes, exactly.
I smelled the food, and it's just like almost like animated when I just follow the scent floating.
It's gonna like as soon as he goes up on Twinkle Toes, like push him back down.
Let me go up.
The path,
Let me fly.
the path now levels out a bit,
Yeah.
so you're a few hundred feet above water level at this
Don't have that
stage.
prepared.
But the path begins to level out, and ahead of you can see this path kind of goes along the mountain at the same level for quite a while, sticking to the sides, and up ahead you can see where it joins with the staircases that lead even further up. And you begin to walk along the side here. The path actually does narrow quite a bit, to the point where you can maybe fit 2 people abreast if one person's really quite brave.
Yeah, we're probably not going to bother doing that.
Have I got a marching order?
City boy in front.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Then finance reform.
Yeah, sure.
I think upon
Then blank slate. Then Then hunter and gatherer.
I'm gonna say like before when we're going up, I'll ask Archibald just to change the my code again back to what it used to be.
Oh, it is already.
It wears off
How
over
did
time.
you do? Oh, where's overtime?
Yeah.
I suppose.
I've
do
had
you know
like
Presto? You
3
might not know
days
this
to
stuff.
do that, so
Fair enough.
I will have done that at some point, I think.
Yeah.
But just in case, I'll just make it extra gold.
Okay.
Oh, that's not my color.
Oh, sorry. What's your color?
Silver and
Okay.
It's
blue and silver.
blue with silver with the trails, the trims being all silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't help but fit. Nope, not gonna go there. I'll send you a picture from 3 years ago later.
Okay, sure.
Oh wow, that's oddly specific.
Yep.
Got something in mind.
Okay, I'll change it back to that.
Thank you.
I am enjoying taking a bit of strain off my knees from a day of hard walking using the walking stick, which I was given.
I'm just going to smile very sweetly from the back.
Yeah. Sulfur doesn't have an issue. She's either the concept of height of this kind of degree is unknown to her, and she knows well enough to stay away from the ledges here. But you all make your way forward. Silk is leading the way. There is only one path here, leading directly along the side of the mountain. There are no splits.
Going forward.
A couple of times you do see some rocks fall from higher up, but they don't affect you directly. Silkus, roll a perception check for me.
It's one of those non-affecting rocks.
Yeah.
Love them. Yeah, that's a 4.
4. Okay. You don't know what causes some of these rock falls. You don't manage to see anything, but they do seem to happen spontaneously every now and again.
Okay.
Get a little bit further on as it starts to make its way towards midday, and you come across an area of the path where it looks like a boulder has come down and smashed through part of it. It's a very, very narrow ledge now with kind of a caved in area around, and you can see where whatever this boulder is has slid down the side of the mountain, taking some of the path with it. And it's looking way down there, you can see what looks to be the cause.
Right.
But you have available to you the sheer mountainside that is at quite a steep angle, and then a very narrow ledge, maybe that wide, going across. You could potentially jump it, looking at it.
How far is it? Like,
it's the size of this gap's about 10 feet before it like levels on both sides. So there's a
it's a
it's
10
obviously
feet
smashed
gap
through
pretty
part,
much.
and then the rest of it's kind of caved a little bit, and it's
Okay.
about 10 feet from level to level.
Oh no. Do you have Longstrider prepared today?
I
How
fucking
does,
didn't
uh,
get jump prepared.
How
No!
does mending work?
My one spell.
Not like that.
My one spell.
I do love the idea of mending not having a size cap on the objects you could mend. That would be incredible.
Mend a mountain.
I so want
Well,
to.
Hey guys, I'll fix the golf
He
for
could,
you.
could he not do what he did with the mirrors and like take little bits of rock and stick them together?
I just want to like think about the
I
idea
guess
of
that
casting a
would work.
large
You'd
on
need
myself.
like the exact right fragments, and they're
Well,
probably in a
course,
big
yeah.
pile. Oh my god!
Yeah, it comes. It comes-
Cast reduce on the gap.
Look, that shot's been going down here for a long time.
I mean, you could cast enlarge on the rock.
But also, yes, you absolutely should cast enlarge on yourself.
Because
I wanna.
It will give you advantage on strength-based checks.
Oh boy, do I need those. Also, I'm pretty sure I can make that gap with being enlarged.
Probably step over it.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it, I will.
You're not particularly short as it is, being double your size.
Yeah, I'll be 12 feet tall.
is Silkus getting closer to us? Oh no, he's getting bigger.
So you just see like the
Couldn't understand why Silkus was getting bigger, and then he hit me.
the paradigm just fall to the ground and cover me, and I just And as I to step over, such a waste of the spell, but it's perfect.
Okay, we'll make an athletics check with advantage
Okay.
because you can't quite just stride over it,
Well,
but you are.
if I'm
You're
double,
skipping.
if I'm double my height, which means I'm 12 feet, and that's 10 feet, I can
Yeah,
still
but
make that gap.
I'm
Can
I'm
you make? Okay,
I'm
can
6'5",
you,
but I
as
can't
a
step
person-
6'5".
Yeah, can you, as a
12 is
person,
step 10.
we know here, stride 5 feet?
Well, not when people look.
Yeah.
I can.
Stage fright is a thing. Okay.
What? So can you do the splits and then pull yourself back
With
up from
advantage.
Yeah, I'm not piling with that one.
Don't throw it away
Lunge.
just yet.
Oh, thank
It
you.
hurts.
Yeah, we really
you,
should have roped up before we tried this. I guess enlarged
That's
wouldn't have been
alright.
able to stop you.
Cyril can just shoot an
You
arrow at
said
him
athletics, yeah.
and lodge it in there.
Athletics, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
good,
but
good,
if
good.
he's enlarged, how am I pulling him back up?
17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, you manage.
Cool. And a little
You
skip.
kind of psych yourself up a little bit. You realize you can't just step across like you were hoping.
I do a
You
little
psych
bit of a
yourself up a
skip and-
bit. You step back, and then you just kind of go, hop, and you launch yourself over, and you manage to make it. It's not far enough that in your enlarged form, it's really not a difficult jump.
Yeah. I'll keep that.
But you are now over there in enlarged form.
I'm keeping that form until the minute lasts. I'm using that spell all the way to the end.
Okay.
Such.
Hey, hey, do you mind roping us over the gap since you're already over it?
Yeah, sure. Sounds like a plan. I'll take out my my rope from my actual from my explorer pack. And I'm just gonna
Which
find
is 50 foot of hempen rope, and I know this because I literally showed down before.
and I'm just gonna tie it to something steady
thank
enough. just there you go. No, then I'm
Now
going.
make a strength check, see if the rope gets over.
And I'm gonna still go and try and throw it over
Okay.
that side.
So you don't have anything to tie it off to on this side.
Is there like a giant boulder?
You are able to
trees or
hold it,
anything?
but there's nothing here that you can tie it off to.
I imagine like you can probably find some like loose, like rocks, like maybe this big to tie it off to if you really
That-
wanted us to fall to our deaths.
I mean, I'm looking for something.
Make an
just-
investigation check.
You're enlarged. Hold on to
I
it.
would like to take.
I
Right,
don't like the
I
tone
might-
he just used. That make an investigation check. Oh, it's not gonna
11.
work.
11.
You-
Yeah,
you,
no,
you
you've
find
got-
that there are no anchor points.
Yeah, you've got the sheer rock face now that you're facing
Right.
back towards the party to your right,
This is gonna be
and then just
painful.
a cliff going down to the left.
Alright. Okay. I am going to. Alright. I'm going to use Mage Hand and bring the other side of the rope to them. And I'm going to see what I can do with. Can I do anything with Mage? How much can Mage Hand
Mage
carry?
hand cannot lift.
I can carry. Can't carry
5
more than 10
pounds.
pounds. Some
Or
of them.
like 10 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, you guys gotta lose weight. So.
I'm going while he's doing
I-
all of this. I'm gonna take about. I'm gonna step back about 20 feet,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna jump it. I'm gonna run and jump.
Okay, make an athletics check for me.
No.
I cast sleep when he goes over in the middle.
How big's the gap?
It's only 10 feet.
Well, nationwide, it's pretty good. So.
And when
You said that there was
make
like a
long
small
jump,
ledge
You
that you
cover,
could
an,
walk
on.
you cover a number of feet up to your strength score.
Jumping. You
Okay,
can make
So
it.
make
Yeah.
an athletics check for me. It's a low DC.
Okay, cool. It better be, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna roll a natural 20.
'Cause technically, you can do it.
16.
Yeah, Archibald, as you're kind of preparing yourself, Silkus, you
Mhm.
mage hand this rope across. Archibald takes a few steps back and then just gives a run up and leaps over. And his run up carries him across pretty easily. He kind of rolls between your legs as in your large form and ends
Fair
up
enough.
behind you.
That was a pretty good jump.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
move across this thin ledge.
Okay, make an acrobatics check for me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna reel back that rope.
I mean, John's still over there.
Hey, you can make it. He can make it.
Yeah, but I'm not affected by a hangover.
14.
14.
Good point. Good point.
Oh, come on, I made him tea.
True.
You shimmy across slowly, but you get there in the end. And now it's just Sulphur and John left.
Sulfur just. Oh, John just throws.
Ariel, is Sulfur fine across that ledge, or shall I give her a hand?
How wide's the ledge?
Give her a pull.
The ledge is it's only like 20
So she
centimeters.
like full on pushed because my this is weird. I keep comparing it to my dog, but she, when I'm in the car, she like shoves herself against the back seat to brace for braking.
Yeah.
Can she like shove herself against the wall and just like kind of use the wall as a counterbalance?
She could, but it would be very awkward for her.
Yeah, you're gonna need to help her.
Yep, got that. I like. Oh, all
She
right.
could also probably make the jump. What's her strength score?
12?
12. Yeah, she could probably make the jump pretty
Ah,
easily.
well then we'll just
So-
let her jump.
I'm the only one
Everybody
that
cross their
couldn't.
fingers.
I didn't use a second level spell to get
Sweet
across.
baby.
You do have the rope on this side as well,
Yeah.
which Silkus is holding on the other side enlarged.
Yeah.
So,
I
Like-
will also hold onto the rope on the other side.
okay.
Just like
I'm sorry, big man, but I'm just gonna.
Well, that's alright.
well, I still care about
Oh,
safety
that's all
precautions.
You're going to tie Sulfur off?
I'll wrap it around my hand enough times that like it's not gonna let go. I'll run off and
But
take a
might
jump.
break his arm.
Broken arm's better than like a broken body.
So who's
Okay.
going first, Sulfur or John?
Up to you.
I'll jump across first because I'm worried about your enlarge running out.
Oh,
Yeah, it's got like a few seconds left. Your
And
rolls
that's-
are god awful.
That's like
Not great. That's 11.
11.
I mean, what's your strength score?
16.
Yeah. You
as-
make it across, no issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
you
take
give
it
it a bit of a
seriously
rung
about
up
it.
and then you launch yourself across and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Sulfur.
She should be fine.
I'm just like
I mean,
10.
10. Sulfur makes it across. She takes some steps back. She gives a run up. She jumps and her one of her back paws just pushes a loose rock off, but she holds her footing. All three other paws were
As
on
soon as I
solid
see
ground.
the foot, I'm gonna grab her.
Yeah, she's still moving forward, so you kind of launch yourself and the two of you collide quite hard. Take 4 points of damage.
Take 4 points of her headbutting me down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do that.
as the
points
two of
of
you
wolf
collide.
damage.
My baby's
like,
safe.
completely
I will do
winded.
that.
But now you are all safely on the other side of this sledge.
Thanks for the hand.
Does she take it?
no problem.
She does,
And
yeah, the same 4.
see what happens is again.
That's heaps on
don't
hers.
lie.
It's not so
Go
much
back,
on
go
mine.
back. It's a reduce, Glenn.
She has a max of 18.
No, she'll be right.
What are you, an animal scupper?
Yes.
So, you are now able to move forward as a party. So, because your enlarged wears off, you tuck the rope back in your backpack or wrap it back around the back of your backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And you all begin heading off once more. This day, you make good time and you reach the staircase by about mid-afternoon.
Excellent.
And the
Great.
stairs are very wide. This is looks like it's been carved over a long period of time, with a lot of traffic coming up and down these stairs. And you can see that this landing that you're on isn't the only one. It goes down all the way, by the looks of it, to the harbour, and all the way up to
Do they have like
a couple of the cities.
goods lifts and
buildings
stuff
you can
like
see.
that down near the harbour?
Make a
that go
perception
all
check.
the way up to the city?
Make a perception check.
Oh no.
Ooh.
7.
7.
I mean-
As you watch, as you look, you don't see any immediately.
So am I just watching like just a couple of big guys just carry crates all the way up these stairs?
You see people carrying around crates down there. You don't see anyone carrying anything up the stairs currently. And as
Good
you kind
lord.
of sit there and
These
observe,
stairs.
as you sit there and observe, you do see what looks to be a large crate start floating, and you kind of track it up. And then you see there is a large crane in kind of a secluded spot at the top of one of the mountains.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. Cool. Let's go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You begin climbing the stairs to Yoln,
Taking off my jacket.
leaving the Gulf of Clifton Road to your back
Sweating.
as you approach the Eastern Track's essentially capital city. You get a little bit closer and you start to hear the sounds echoing down through the mountains, and to either side of you, you've got off the wide staircase. There are large drops either way. You can see into huge valleys between some of these mountains, but looking up, you can see where probably that lift is accessed from. The range comes around and provides a what's it called? The top of the mountain range.
Summit.
Whatever. It provides a
Summit.
pathway along, essentially a large ledge along the top of the mountain range here that leads back towards the city. And on your left, similar thing, but with a smaller mountain range coming in from that side as well, and they meet right in front of you that you're climbing currently. You are at my words elude me. Words elude me today, apparently.
My world.
You're at the meeting point of these two mountain ranges, so the Daling Range Major and the Daling Range Minor.
The baseball team.
You continue to climb, and by sundown, you crest over the top to see, or splayed out before you, you seem to have come up over a ridge, and there is a plateau lower than you, where it is just covered in buildings. You see lights are on all over the place. It is lit up like a Christmas tree. Not that any of you know what that is. And
I do.
it is surrounded by the mountains here. A couple of the taller buildings you were able to see from the staircase and from further down, which is mostly what tipped you off to the fact that this was here before you reached it. But as you crest this point, you can see it's a huge city set in this ginormous flat plateau in the middle of the mountain ranges going up on either side that form this large circle around it.
I'm going to check my Wi-Fi connection.
You absolutely feel it right here.
Okay.
You look back and you can see a number of the towers leading all the way back down. You can see where they disappear down the side of the Daling Range Major, which is where you came from. And you can see looking forward the large relays set around Yon itself, and then the ones leading out the other side.
That one gives you jump boost, that one gives you haste 2, that one gives you regeneration.
Yeah, not quite. These are more like actual cell phone towers. They are large structures with the relay that you're familiar with at the top, essentially. Well done. And as you look down on Yoln and see the lights of Yoln lit up, the sounds of a bustling city, that is where we are going to leave the session for the night.
Because Oscar has lost the ability to speak.
Yes, somehow I don't know how to speak anymore.
Okay, so this is the evening.
This is the evening of the 7th. So you have not yet rested. It is day 280, 7th of Florence.
I am scoping out as we walk in. We got like wanted posters around for me.
I will note that. You're not currently close enough to any buildings to really make that out, but I will keep that in mind.
What's the weather like?
There are no wanted posters large enough to be made out from this distance.
It's also
a
night
good
time,
thing.
so
Just get into town and there's like massive wanted banners.
Does
like,
it
I might
sound...
actually need to disguise
Just
myself.
like 50 by 50 feet. It's just like wanted. That does look like me.
Wanted this guy. It's just an arrow pointing at me. I should move.
as soon as you cross city limits, there's just this neon arrow
Wanted.
pointing at you.
Just like
Ah, shit, I'm a sin.
I picture like you see a sign, you're like, oh, that's not
dead
big
or
enough.
alive, sketchy
Next
Jake.
one's like even bigger.
Yeah.
Like, that needs like neon, something not noticeable. Next one before it's like
It's just a
neon
selection of
giant.
billboards mounted along the mountains.
Yeah,
Each one is
just
successively
getting-
bigger. Yeah.
So when you get closer, you can get to the smaller ones. so it's always there.
Oh yeah.
Does it
Also-
sound busy, by the way? Like, it doesn't sound like it's a busy city.
Oh yeah, it sounds very busy. It sounds
Great.
bustling.
Oh wow.
So that robe design, roughly.
No. I mean, there's a trim around there, yes, but other than that, no.
Yeah. Okay.
But color, sort of.
That's-
Yeah. No, that's not. Wow. Wow. To be fair, I got my inspiration from other drawings and whatnot, and
Okay,
I
the other
gave you
pages of
your
that.
robe in this campaign.
It's true.
You stole from me.
Excuse me, mister.
And that we're gonna let go and
Let go.
let go of everything, including Will. I have none.
Who's Will? Why are you letting go of him?
Because
Are we-
Are we getting confused with 4th edition?
He needed that job, okay?
He liked working for
All
free.
right.
It's
Thank you all so very much for watching.
You can catch us live every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can see the VODs on YouTube at our YouTube channel. It's linked in the panels below. Head over to our Twitter. Give us a follow there for updates and stream live notifications, which is twitter.com/maxoutofficial. And also join our Discord if you would like to interact with us between streams. I assure you we'll do it if you speak.
Yeah.
We are terrible at maintaining that Discord with our own chatter, so
Also,
bring your own.
follow us on our individual Twitters. You can see them listed here.
Please do.
I currently have a poll up for the next 12,
20 minutes?
13
Some
hours.
amount of time.
13,
Seconds.
11 hours
10,
uh,
9,
in
8.
which you can decide what I have to draw next. It's currently tied between Thor and Doctor Strange.
I wanted
Please
to
vote
be.
Doctor Strange because he's friggin' awesome.
I wanted to be Iron Man. Just
Also, if you've enjoyed,
You know, that outro from me, that's going to age perfectly.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you enjoyed, give us a follow here on Twitch. It greatly helps us out. And all
If
your
you're able to
is
support
very
us
much-
financially,
of course.
hit that subscribe button. We do have one. We are
Affiliated.
Affiliated.
with
Thank you.
Twitch. Yeah.
and if you're a big
All
time
your support helps
manager,
us amazingly. We very much appreciate you all. Until next time,
Tell your friends.
and your loved ones.
thanks so much for being here.
Wait,
Thanks
prepare
for
to mute
living.
so that Josh can't say his part after yours.
What's my part? I have a part in this somewhere.
Whose line is it?
Anyway, so as we
Take
say,
it easy.
and breathe.
Bye.